Hi everybody, this is a quick video showing my Rover entry into the weekly open source part competition. It's a pretty standard Apollo-inspired rover. Open frame, kind of a little boxy and trussy on the corners. Open air, a little bit of equipment mounting in the back. Here I'm showing it on these inclines to show that it's remarkably stable. Nothing overly special about this. Here I'm going to high center it a little bit. I may have to show off the special feature early to get it off of this. Nope. Plenty of suspension in those wheels. Gets right back down. Okay, that's the Rover. As you can see, nothing too extraordinary. A little bit of toe hitch tongue thing in the front. Got the standard parts mounted to it: batteries, solar cells, RTGs, lights. Here's where it gets exciting. This is how it gets to planets. Stowed on the lander. And here it is deploying. I've wanted to build an infernal robotics part for quite some time, so I took this up as an opportunity to do that. Let's go ahead and drop it after I set the brakes. I'm just going to hold down the B button so you don't have to watch me move my toolbar buttons around. And there you go. Lander deployed. I've of course got two mounted here for weight purposes. It's much easier to land a lander that is in balance. You could also use other types of equipment to balance that load. We don't need to watch Joe come down the ladder. Here are the pieces in the vehicle assembly building. I had to build it in 3 parts to make that animation work. I'm hoping once Circuit finishes the new Infernal Robotics arms pack that I'll be able to do it in one piece. But for now, here you go. It's got those little mount plates on the side for the wheels. It's got that back bar, which is a great place to put batteries and that sort of gear. As you can see here in the vehicle assembly building, we can go ahead and pre-adjust things. So when you get it set up, ready to attach to the lander, you can go ahead and fold it up before you click launch. I'm going to speed the video up here and throw the parts on here so you can watch it all come together. 4 wheels. Just throwing 3 batteries back there. No reason you couldn't throw RTGs back there, or use that to mount solar panels or antennas. Some places to sit. Some lights. Turn on some retractable solar panels to charge one part. Some RTGs, which, you know, this thing's way overpowered, but just showing you all the buttons. And then I'm making it a sub-assembly. Giving it a name. Saving. Then I'm going to speed the video back up and build a really basic lander. This Rover design will work with a lot of different types of landers, anywhere you can mount something on the side. I'm just using the Clampetron Junior docking ports there on the side to attach the lander. The nose of the lander is not a docking port, it's just a normal attachment point, so you can attach it to a docking port and unattach it, but you won't be able to reattach it, so it's a one-time carry thing. See, there are also 2 places you can click that onto the docking port. You always want to do the outside one. If you do the inside one, you're actually attaching to the back side of the docking port and you won't be able to undock. Let's fold this thing up for launch. Obviously I put the RTGs in a dumb place there, but I'm not going to go back and edit it just for this demo. Let's look at it in Unity. Here's the front. It's 3 pieces in Unity as well. You can see a basic box collider that goes all the way around the thing. You could do several box colliders and more carefully follow the shape, but it wasn't necessary here. I put a separate box collider there for the tongue. You can see there's a front attachment node there with the blue arrow sticking out, and a rear attachment node there with the blue arrow sticking out. When we look at the config file in a second, you'll see how we turn those into nodes Unity can use. Here in the middle section, you'll see there's just one big box collider around the whole thing. You see we also got the front and rear attached nodes. There's also an invisible piece here. It's the name Pivot in all capital letters. And I'm going to turn the mesh renderer on so you can see it. For Infernal Robotics, you have to tell it what holds still. So the pivot there is the piece that holds still. And I deleted the mesh renderer so it doesn't show up in Kerbal Space Program. Also important to see there in the hierarchy, under the middle, the back attachment node is parented to the model, so that when it animates, it goes with it. Let's look at the back piece. 2 box colliders, one for the bottom, one for the part that sticks up there to mount gear on. Single attachment point, and there you go. It also has the invisible pivot, which I turned on there for you, and then turned off again. I think you could probably use an empty game object as the pivot point there, and it's actually not the pivot point. The pivot point for an Infernal Robotics part is the 0, of the game object. So not the Unity space 0, but the game object that it's parented to is what it's going to rotate again around. In the config file, you saw me just highlight the node definitions. That's by far the easiest way to do this. And down here is the Infernal Robotics module. I just copy and pasted most of this file and changed the names and the relevant parameters here from the Infernal Robotics hinge, because that's the most similar part. But you can adjust the hinge travel. There's where you define the piece of the model that stays in place. And that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching.